I didn't know if this little nook would be accessible, but the nyererei was all the way down here, nestled in this corner. And I think if we try to have any mating activity in here, that's going to be a way they can kind of hide out. If anybody is watching this and you really know your African cichlids, stick around to the end. I could really use some help on identifying some of these species. So we're going to make a little bit of a game out of that. Hey, it's Brock here with Uncommon Aquatics, and today we are going to be hardscaping this newly set up 75-gallon aquarium. It's actually a used aquarium that I got completely free, and I built this stand primarily out of stuff I just had laying around, and as I was building it, I realized it could serve a dual purpose, and I put a 20-gallon long underneath. And actually all of that was covered in my last video. If you're interested in seeing the way I put this stand together, I'll put links at the end of this video where you can watch the stand build. But what we're going to be doing today is hardscaping this tank. I would normally call it an aquascape, but without plants, I guess it's a hardscape. And then we're going to be stocking it full of African cichlids. So I'm very excited about this. First thing we need to do is get a base layer of sand down. The front of the hardscape will be sand. And I'm going to put it all the way across the back because I don't want the big heavy rocks setting directly on the glass bottom. So that's where we'll start. I use this cheap sand from Lowe's or Home Depot. I don't remember which one I got it from. J&R Sand and Gravel Paver Sand. Cheapest stuff I can find. I've been using it for a while. Works great. Make sure to rinse it off good. It helps with the mess, although you're going to get some cloudy water from this either way. I don't use hang on the back filters for most of my aquariums, but I think 55 and 75 gallon aquariums are a good choice for hang on the back. And these Aquatics from Walmart are actually a really good value in my mind. I kind of like them. They've got the pump is external. I've had no problems with mine so far. So my 55-gallon aquarium right over there has 2 of these, and that aquarium's been up and running for a long time. So I'm going to take one off of that 55-gallon and put it on here, and I've got 2 new ones. One new one will go on here, and one new one will replace the cycled filter that goes on this tank. That way both aquariums will have one fully cycled filter and one brand new filter. Right over here is a koi tank. It's got some algae built up on the glass, but it also has large diameter rough stone that is seeded with beneficial bacteria. And that's going to be part of what helps us cycle this tank. Now we're skipping ahead about 12 hours. I've had the filters running and let the dust kind of settle and let the dust filter out from the sand. And what I've done is I've built the front up here about 3 inches, maybe 3.5 inches of sand at the front, and at the back we have a 1/2 inch of sand or less. So we have this flat part without much sand, and then it kind of lifts up, and that's part of the design. Now this will be used to fill back in once I've got my rock in. I have another channel called Rock Hill Farm that's about using equipment and rural living, and it's called Rock Hill Farm because my property's covered in sandstone, especially the top half up on the hill. So what we're going to do now is get our hardscape materials for free from outdoors. And what I'm searching for is rocks that are maybe this big around and smaller that I can pile up in here to form that structure, and then we'll put the small rocks around it. Now, I don't want just a massive tower in the back, but I would like to kind of hide the intakes on the filters a little bit and use it to hold down my air stones and hide the heater a little bit, conceal a lot, but I don't want the whole back taken up. It's not that big of a tank for the size and number of fish we're putting in it, so I don't want to take the whole tank up with rocks. And I also don't want it completely symmetrical. So we'll probably have some variety mixed in. Let me show you one rock I found so far. This is a little bit on the bigger side, but I think I'm going to use this as like a feature stone towards the front. standing up like this. Now most of the rock, I'm gonna look for thinner stuff that'll be stacked like that, but I want probably something protruding out in the middle that's not as high, that kind of breaks up the shape of things. I've never done exactly what I'm doing before. I've watched lots of videos and I've got kind of an idea in my head, but we'll see how it goes. What I need to do right now is go collect about 30 more rocks like this and wash them, and then we'll get started. So I'm currently in the process of building a trail through the woods right here, and these rocks are the spoils from that trail build. Surely we can find some good ones out here. Looking for thin and stackable, like this will work. So here you can see how I've ramped the sand up, taller at the front, and this is going to be what fills in around the rocks when I'm done. I've also got these air stones in. Some people might not use aeration if they have, you know, good filtration and water movement. I always use air stones, even planted tanks, unplanted. I think it's a benefit. I could actually do a whole story on my thoughts on that. But right now, what I want to do is place big stones at the back in the corners and then work out from there. And then I want some signature stones towards the front. So right now what I'm thinking about is hiding this air stone. There we go. I'm going to do that in the other corner as well. Same thing. We're going to take a small stone and place it right here. And then this bigger stone is going to set on it and angle upward. And we're making a cave here, but not a huge cave. Just a nook. And we'll get multiple angles of this, but I've stirred up the dust and you're not going to see it that well anyway. Okay, so we're going to create a break here. A line of sight break. You know what? No planning or anything. I just threw those in there and I think it's going to be perfect and exactly what I wanted. I used every rock that I grabbed, none left over. Now I'm going to get medium-sized rocks out of the koi tank and add those in. Then once the water clears up a little bit, I'll show you what we've got. Okay, the aquascape is done and it's time to add fish. But first I want to do kind of a 360 on it. So there's the view from this side. And as we come down, I made kind of a little path there. I thought that kind of breaks up the monotony of just a flat wall. Now these rocks might not have quite the character that you could get out of some of the bottom stones that are thinner, but on a lot of aquascaping videos, the pros will teach you that you need shadows and darkness, and that's why I've got this big overhang from that rock to give it some shadow. And there's one big mistake I feel like I made is the airlines should have been black tubing, because if those were black tubing, you almost wouldn't see anything exposed. I mean, you can see the filter tubes, but it's black on black, and I think it's a pretty clean look. So now let's add some fish. And this is the aquarium that the fish are coming out of. And I'm going to add these one at a time. And there's about 20 African cichlids in here, but some of them I don't know the species. And I'm going to see if you guys can help me with those species names as I add the fish. So in general, I have a rule that I don't buy a fish without knowing what it is. I do my research and I try to understand exactly what I'm getting and what that fish needs. And I did that with these African cichlids, but my memory's not that good and they all have confusing names to me. So I've forgotten what about half of them are. So as I add them, I'm going to number off what they are and fill in the ones that I know and see if you guys can tell me the ones that I don't know. All right, fish number 1. I actually do know what this one is. This is a Venustus. It's also called a giraffe cichlid. First inhabitant of the new tank. Although actually that's not true. I have a green Texas cichlid already in here. It's a tiny, tiny little Texas cichlid that is in here as a grow out. It was in the little 20-gallon as a grow out, but it was eating my guppies. So now it's in here and it's well hid. Okay, fish number 2. And I don't know the names of a lot of these, but coincidentally, I know what this one is. This is a Sulfur Head. One of my favorites. Alright, this one I believe was called a strawberry peacock maybe? So this is fish number 3. If you know the species, tell me what it is in the comments. I want to write down what all of these species are and have it from now on. Alright guys, I just am not great at this. And, I mean, this is, I don't remember if it's just a yellow lab or if it has another name. Fish number 4 is plain yellow and just swam to the back. What is fish number 4? Alright, this is a very cool fish, but I don't remember its name. It's got a really it's got a nice shape to it. I believe that's a half. Fish number 5 has a beautiful blue color, but I don't know what he is specifically. Alright, fish number 6 and number 7 I caught at the same time. One is definitely an OB Peacock. And the other one might be a Feireyii. So there's the Peacock. And this is the fish number 7. And I don't know the species. This is the only one that the pet store owner didn't know what it was when I bought it. He's a feisty little guy, kind of plain coloration, but fits in really nicely with the others. Someone had guessed 5-star general, but I don't think that's it. He's got 5 spots down each side. He's a feisty little guy. When he was tiny, I thought he might be a peacock bass. The silver fish is fish number 8. Alright, now fish number 9. This guy is awesome. Kind of pinkish, but I don't know what he is. Do you recognize the species of fish we have right here? Fish number 9. Fish number 10, I believe, is an OB Peacock. This will be our 3rd OB Peacock, but it's a blueberry, just because of the colors. That is fish number 10 right there. Fish number 11. This one I know, that's a polar blue Parrot cichlid. Not an African, it's a South American, or it's a hybrid. But that's what he is. Alright, this time I've got 3 in there at once. I believe this is a Lethrinops, and I don't know what this blue one is. Very cool fish though. These guys are angry. They don't like being caught. You need to tell them, come on guys. It's your same old tank mates. You're just hanging out in a bigger house now. This isn't a bad thing, I promise. I might have just lost track of what number we're on, but I'm going to say we're up to 15. So the next fish will be 16. I believe this one's called a lemon jake, but the other problem is I don't know what species that is. It's just a nickname that I think applies. It's got kind of a yellow color to it and vertical striping across its body. Fish number 16, my guess is lemon jake. Now if anybody's actually playing the game with me and trying to number and name these fish, I'm off as I'm saying them out loud, but the numbers on the screen should be correct. Okay, so we're going to call this fish number 17, and I know what this one is. It's a pundamilia. Beautiful yellow coloration with a flame red top on it. It's kind of pink right now instead of red. Okay, this is another kind of pinkish fish, and I also want to call it a strawberry something, but I don't know. I'm losing track, and if I'm numbering the fish wrong, I'll correct it on the screen. So I'm going to call this fish number 19, and he's one of the big boys. One of my favorites. I have no idea what kind of fish it is. Let me know what you guys think we have right here, fish number 19. Fish number 20 is orange, and I believe it's an Mbuna. Let me know what this guy is if we ever get a shot of him. What is that guy? I don't think that is an Mbuna. I'm not sure. Fish number 21 is a blood parrot. No confusion on that one. We're all familiar with the blood parrot, I'm sure. Now this one, I said backwards last time and you guys corrected me, and I still don't remember. It's either a diamond sapphire or a star sapphire. I think diamond. Really cool fish. This next one is not a cichlid, it's a strawberry Syndontis catfish. Tiny little catfish. I've seen a big version of this guy. Really cool fish. I'm thinking we might be on fish number 24, and this is a Japanese bumblebee catfish. You guys are never going to see him again because he's a great hider, so while he's out here, I'm trying to get a shot of him. It's a cool fish, but a lot of these catfish, you hardly ever see them. So if anybody recognizes all of these fish, go in the comment section and tell me exactly what I have here. Because I love these fish and I handpicked them, but I just don't have the memory for the scientific names. But if you guys can tell me what they are, I'll make a list and I'll save it and I'll learn them that way. So that's really awesome. But I am thrilled with this layout of this tank. Let me step out of the way. So I lucked into a situation where this is a free aquarium with a free aquascape and a free stand. And really excited about the way this tank looks. Absolutely love it. So I appreciate you guys taking time to watch this video. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.